Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Board Game Brunch, my monthly live Q&A here on the Dice Tower. My name is Crystal Pisano, for those of you who don't know me, although I imagine most of you probably do. And I'm very happy to be hanging out with you all this morning. I'm going to try, so I've noticed in my live videos over the past couple of months, I've gotten into this weird habit of swinging my chair back and forth. And I think it's just a fidgety thing. I tend to be a kind of fidgety person in general. And I have my feet planted on the floor, but I'm using them to shuffle myself back and forth. And when I've watched my videos back after the fact, I've noticed it's kind of distracting. So hopefully now that I'm aware of it, I can stop it. And hopefully it hasn't been too bothersome to anyone else. Or hopefully now that I've pointed it out, it isn't worse. I don't know if you all are some of those people that once you know about a thing, you notice it more. I'm definitely like that. So let's see here. If you have any questions for me, feel free to drop them in the chat. Until then, I can just kind of chair dancing. It's exercise. Yes, that's what I'm going to count it as. I've definitely been trying to burn off tiny calories while streaming on the internet. Yeah. So I hope you all are having a really good Sunday so far. It is obviously pretty early here on the West Coast, but for those of you who are on the East Coast or even maybe overseas, it's later in the day. I hope you all have done some fun stuff. The Oscars are tonight, but I'm going to miss them, which I'm kind of bummed about because I will be streaming live with Roy from the Dice Tower and some of the other folks from Epic Gaming Night over on their YouTube channel this evening. We will be continuing our Dungeons and Dragons campaign, the Epic Tales of Misplaced Meeples. It would be nice if I could get the name right. I play a tiefling character in that campaign named E-Ray, which if anyone knows Latin, they know what that means. I figured it was appropriate when I named her. But that campaign's been really fun. And so even though I'm going to have to miss the Oscars tonight, it's so funny. Sunday nights over the past couple months, there's been a lot of things going on, awards shows and other things like that. But yeah, so if you guys like Dungeons and Dragons and you want to watch a bunch of people awkwardly play it and have a lot of fun, go over to the Epic Gaming Night channel tonight. I don't remember what time that starts. I should know. I think it's 6:30-ish Pacific time. Something like that. So, yeah, so keep dropping questions in the chat. Let's see, what do I have for you all today? Oh, well, I wanted to show something that came in the mail. Obviously, haven't played it yet because it just got here. But you all know that I love Fog of Love. I did a live stream here on the Dice Tower of my very first playthrough in the first two scenarios. Well, now I own all 3 expansions. Oh gosh, hard to show them on camera well, apparently, but I've got Trouble with the In-Laws, It Will Never Last, and Paranormal Romance. So I am definitely looking forward to playing. Yeah, Nick probably has the time right for Misplaced Meeples, probably 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. That sounds about right. You'd think I would know since I'm in it. But yeah, I'm excited to have the expansions for Fog of Love, and they were on sale on Walmart.com a few days ago, last week, something like that, for $10 each. So I went ahead and just bought all of them because I love this game more than I can express. And so I'm going to have Elissa come over at some point, and she and I are going to keep playing Fog of Love. If you all are interested in us streaming that, let me know. I don't know. I know that I have to keep the content family friendly. In the first couple of scenarios, it was pretty easy to do that. But I think with some of these expansions, it might be more difficult to keep them family friendly and still have them make sense. So Fog of Love is available at Walmart. I know originally the distribution was exclusive through Walmart, so I'm not sure if that's still the case, but definitely Walmart is the place to get both the base game and the expansions, and they have all 3 covers available. So they have the male-female couple, the female-female couple, and the male-male couple, all for sale at Walmart and on Walmart.com, and then the expansions are there as well. And they were on sale for I think it was either $9.99 or $10.99. Which is why I went ahead and grabbed them because, sales. So other things that I've been playing recently, which you guys can ask me questions about if you're interested in, 21, which is a roll and write game that I ordered from German Amazon at the recommendation of Suzanne Sheldon, who you all know and love. This one, pretty interesting, really fun. If you want to hear about that, let me know. my new love. Doppelt So Clever. I couldn't wait until this one came out in the States. Had to order it from Germany. I've only played now the physical game twice. I've been playing the app a lot, unsurprising. But now I've played a multiplayer as well, so that's cool. If you want to hear about the sequel to Ganz Schon Clever, let me know. That's Doppelt So Clever, or Twice as Clever is the English name. I finally got my own copy of Catch the Moon. So Eric from What's Eric Playing and a bunch of other people taught this one to me at BGG-Con back in November. And I should have just bought a copy of it right then and there, and I didn't. And now I finally have my own. This is a dexterity game where you're stacking little wooden ladders on one another. This one, I guess, this one would be fun to show. So also the box has this like nice linen finish. I don't even know if you'll be able to see it in the camera. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Nope, you can't see the detailed. It's like a really nice feeling box, if that makes any sense. You guys know, of course you know. Like if I was talking to like non-gamers, they'd be like, that's weird. But you guys know, like when the box has that kind of like linen-y finish. So like there's this plastic base and then all of the wooden ladders. I guess I could just pull out some of the starter ones because they're already out of the bag. And you end up stacking these ladders all on top of each other. And when you knock ladders off, you make the moon cry because she's sad. And you get one of the moon's tears. And that's adorable. I love it. This game's really fun. It's very simple, obviously. Like it's just a dexterity game. But the ladders are all like differently shaped. So the ways you stack them on top of each other gets pretty interesting. So let me pull a couple of them out kind of as like examples. And of course I picked two that are like nearly identical. So like these two are kind of the same shape, but the rungs in them are different. So like theoretically when you're trying to stack them, like you could slide this into this one and like get it to kind of just hang out in there. Or you could, you know, place it on the top. Oh, let's see if is it big enough yet? Yeah, like this. Like there's a lot of different options as to how you stack things together. Can I get it to hang? Yeah, see, like you can get it to hang. It's shocking how well these things like manipulate to stack on top of one another. I will say though, I played this 2-player with Elissa, who I mentioned earlier and who you all have seen on a live stream with me before. And she and I are both pretty good at dexterity games like this. And so she and I literally like weren't knocking anything off. We were just like stack, 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 stack. And we had this giant thing of ladders. And it was like funny, but also a little disappointing because obviously in a dexterity game, if nothing's ever falling off, that's less fun, I think. Let's see if I can get these back into the box appropriately. So that's Catch the Moon. If you like dexterity games or if you're looking for something like quick, fillery to play between other games, I think this one's a really, really good one. I love it so much. And it's, come on, it's the theme is cute. Like that's the thing with a lot of dexterity games that like there's barely any theme. But yeah, let's see. I also finally got to play City of Gears. So full disclosure, Gray Fox Games, who publishes this, sponsors my podcast, Board Game Blitz. They do not, as part of their sponsorship, we're not obligated to play their games, talk about their games, aside from like we mentioned something that they have upcoming in the outro of our episodes, but like we don't have to do anything regarding reviewing their titles. And this one I actually had very little knowledge about. So I was kind of like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to like it. Like the theme seems kind of like, could be whatever, it could be anything. I guess I could show the back of the box. That's got a pretty cool picture of what the layout looks like because that's one of the neatest parts. I should move my face out of the way. Is it all backwards on the stream? No, it's forwards when it's on the stream. It's just backwards from my view. But yeah, like there's these neat little robot meeples and it's mostly area control. It's definitely steampunky, as Kabuki Kid said in the chat. I'll pull out some of the components because they're pretty neat looking. So let's pull out these green ones here. So there's custom printed dice, which I am a fan of. I've said this many times. I love custom printed dice. Although, weirdly, I thought that the dice should be a little bigger, which makes no sense. They roll fine. They work fine. You can see everything on them. But have you ever, like, seen the components and just been like, I wish they were a slightly different size? They're great. Let's see if we can get the camera to focus on them a little bit. Here, I'm going to do the hand behind the thing. We're going to make this work, I swear. Come on, camera, focus. You can see them. It's just not focused very well. Ooh, 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 ooh. Kind of. So yeah, there's a bunch of different symbols on there. Those are resources, and also the little cogs mean you get to pick gears, and I will show you the gears because they're pretty cool looking too. But yeah, so there's the dice. There's the little robot meeples. I love fun-shaped meeples as well, so those are great. And this one, it's weird. There's a lot of components, and I actually thought it was going to be harder to learn, but it was pretty simple to learn. Our only problem when we were playing was some of these gears, the special powers on them, weren't super clear, and also the tiles. There's tiles in the game that have descriptions on them. And we kind of wished we had a guide for both the gears and the tiles. And I've been speaking with the designer on Twitter a little bit. And I think he said he wants that in a future edition of the game as well. So yeah, the little gears, these little plastic gears, they fit into the board. Here, if I put them back, I move my face up, maybe that. Oh my gosh. But yeah, some of these, we weren't 100% sure exactly how the powers worked when they triggered, because most of the gears you can only use once per round, but there are a couple that's kind of, it doesn't make sense for, or that's not actually the case. I found out on Board Game Geek. But yeah, so there's the gear tiles, and then there's the city tiles, and these are all real gorgeous. So then those plastic gears, I should have kept one of them out. Those plastic gears fit into, that's a bad example, the city tiles there, and then to claim ownership of it, you put your little individual player token on top of the gear itself. But yeah, the city tiles all do different things when you have control of them or when you have a worker on them. There's other colors too. There's a blue one. Yeah, and then you only use like about 9 of these tiles per game, and there are way more than 9 in here. How many of them are there? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, probably 20? Looks like 21, but that doesn't make sense. I probably counted wrong. About 20 is the answer. Oh, those are upside down. Oh, no, wait, maybe it is 21. Looks like that's an odd number. Hey, maybe I can count. Oh, thank you, Gary. Yeah, I'm loving my new hair so much, so much. It is just the best. The girl who did it for me did a really great job. And I'm hoping that it stays vibrant through Dice Tower West, which is now, let's see, today is Sunday. So that is 10 days away. 10 days away till Dice Tower West. Mm-hmm. Oh, that was a box, I swear. I also have been playing On Tour, new roll and write game that came out recently, shipped to Kickstarter backers. Biggest box for a roll and write game ever, heaviest box for a roll and write game ever. So if you all want to hear about that one, or Doppelt So Clever, or 21, let me know. But I did bring something else that a bunch of people had been asking about in my various live videos, because I keep mentioning it, and I don't ever have it handy to show you all. So let's see. I brought my quiver. I talk about it all the time. Not everybody knows what a quiver is. This is my quiver. I have a lot of stickers on it, so I got to give some shout outs, obviously. Well, there's my podcast. I don't have to shout out my own podcast, Board Game Blitz. Pride Dice, which was a Kickstarter I backed recently. I've got some pins and stickers from them. Great Way Games, awesome podcast. What's Eric Playing, who does good written content. Ding and Dent, awesome podcast. 5x, awesome podcast. Board Games in Bed, awesome podcast. And Playability, awesome podcast. So go check all of those out. I got to give shout outs to my fave peeps. But yeah, this is my quiver. Do you all want to see what's in it? You should let me know if you want to see what's in it. I don't want to just like open it up. It's kind of hard to show stuff off in it, but I'll definitely show you everything that's in here if you all are interested. One person said we're all a quiver about the contents. I mean, yeah, it could be. Wouldn't it be funny if I had brought this and it was empty? It's not. It's very not empty right now. I haven't actually switched anything out in it in a little while, probably a month or two. Okay, it sounds like people want to see it. I will go back. If you all asked questions earlier in the chat, I will go back to those. But yeah, we're gonna open it up, and let's see if I can somehow successfully show things off without dumping everything on the floor. Okay, I've already lost a tiny marker, so that's a good start. This is generally not intended to be, oh man. Okay, so here is the current state of Crystal's Quiver. There's a lot of things in here. I don't remember how many games exactly. About 17 total games are in here right now, in their entirety, aside from boxes and inserts. So, I guess I could show you guys. Let's see here. It's going to be a little bit difficult. Oh, and yes, I've had to bend some rule books to do this as well. So if you have problems bending or folding rule books, this wouldn't always work for you. Like Wordsy right here, obviously, is just a little bit bent. But I've got, at one point, I put sentient in here. I was surprised I was able to fit sentient in my Quiver, and I could, but I had to fold the rule book to do it. So let's see. What games do I have in here currently? I have 2 Keyforge decks. I have No Thanks. I have Sprawlopolis, which is a cooperative game from Button Shy. If you listened to a recent episode of Board Game Blitz where we talked about our favorite games from 2018, I gave that one a shout out there. Sprawlopolis is wonderful. If somebody doesn't understand what I'm saying, like that's a weird word, somebody else drop them in the chat maybe, or I can later if y'all want to know. Let's see, we have, after Sprawlopolis is Herbaceous, the card game. I do own the dice game Herbaceous Sprouts as well. And I've actually been talking about how I wish I could fit Herbaceous Sprouts in my Quiver, but the board is too big. Everything else would fit. I might have to try and make a smaller version of the board and see if I can do it. All right, I have The Mind. Whoop, of course. I have Hanami Koji, which is one of my favorite 2-player games of all time. I won't lie, this thing weighs like 7 or 8 pounds, and holding it up is, there goes the Wordsy rules. Yes, Quivers do come with dividers. Let's see here. All right, so after Hanami Koji is Circle the Wagons, another game from Button Shy, the 18 card games. This one's my second favorite from them, and it's 2 players only, but it's really good. I have Wurfel Bonanza, which is the dice game version of Bonanza, for those of you who have not seen it. Let's see if I can get those cards. I'm sorry, I'm not showing everything on camera super clear, but that's only because it's hard to manipulate things. Those are the tokens for Hanami Koji that I showed earlier. I've got Belratti, and I've got those ones in a bag. Belratti, Belratti. Also need to get from Germany, not out in America. Cooperative game, has an aspect to it that is similar to The Mind, but it is about artwork, kind of. It's about forging pieces of art. It is awesome. I love Belratti so much. Let's see here. I have High Society, the newest edition of High Society. And you might be going, well, those are just the money cards, Crystal. Where are the big ones? So the the oversized cards are actually, oh man, can you see it down there? Can you see the faux pas? The big sized cards are sitting on the bottom of the Quiver, underneath the other cards. So that's how I fit some games in here. Same thing for Hanami Koji, because they have some oversized cards as well. So yeah, I lay those at the bottom and then put the smaller cards on top. Oh my God, this is like really, really heavy. Okay, so there's the tokens for No Thanks. I showed that earlier. Then let's see, we've got the cards for Wordsy. The sand timer for Wordsy is in here somewhere as well. I'll probably find it eventually. I've got Startups, which is from Oink Games. Whoop. I'm trying to keep these kind of where they are, because otherwise later I'm going to go, oh gosh, how did I have this all packed in here? I've got Deep Sea Adventure, also from Oink Games. This one I could theoretically take out of its box. There's less components. Like Startups, I think, like fills this box pretty intensely. Oh no, I moved a card down. Okay. So yeah, Startups and Deep Sea Adventure, 2 of my favorite games from Oink Games. Then Red 7, which is like the only Carl Chudik designed game that I will actually play. I've heard very good things about the one of his that's out of print. Z Garcia actually taught me the one that's not out of print. Oh my gosh, what is the name of it? I can't remember. We played it once, and I felt like I still had no idea what I was doing. Okay, let's see here. We're going to turn it around temporarily. You know what's funny is I could have just like pulled all the rules out of the pocket to show you which one games are in here. Yes, okay. No, not Innovation. Glory to Rome is the one that's out of print. Matai and I is the one that I've played. Yay, I beat the chat. I know you all are going to type. You probably already typed it, and I just haven't seen it because of the delay. But yeah, Glory to Rome, I have not played. Matai and I is the one that Z taught me, and my brain kind of exploded. It's weird that a game that only takes like 20 minutes to play can be that crunchy, like that hard to understand. And I played through a whole game of it and I still was like, I'm not sure what I'm doing. Not my favorite, but Red 7 I really like. Okay, so then what else do we have in here? So there's the sand timer for Wordsy, which I guess in theory, if I needed a sand, is it 60 seconds, 30 seconds? I think it's 60 for this game. If I needed a sand timer for any other games, I could just leave one in here. Then we've got some little markers for the roll and write, and then we've got a bunch of dice. Oof, I'm gonna put that down for a second. So I've got the Wurfel Bonanza dice here. Come on, camera, focus. It's because they're white, maybe. Oh my gosh. They've got the same little bean illustrations that people who've seen it's not focusing, probably because of the plastic. Sorry. Somebody said no Arboretum. I don't own Arboretum. I've never played Arboretum. So yeah, no Arboretum. I'm not like saying I wouldn't play it. I just haven't. So, and then in here, we have the dice for 3 games for Gon's Shown Clever, which will honestly probably be replaced by Doppelt So Clever soon, or maybe I'll have both. Because you can use the dice from one to play the other, but you have to do color substitutions, and that can be tough to remember. Also, for people who are colorblind, both of these games are problematic, I think. So, but yeah, I've got the Gon's Shown Clever dice. Those are these ones here with the smaller pips and the smaller dice in general. Then I've got the ones that have the X's on them are for Knockmal, Nocchmal. Which the score sheets, let's pull out a score sheet for Knockmal, assuming I have some left in here. That's what I didn't, oh yeah, there we go. Let's see, I must have some. So Knockmal is this roll and write game, which is really fun. Then the ones that are like really big and chunky and white and kind of like inset here, like this one and this one and this one. These are for the English name of the game is called Color Yam. It makes no sense. Kribbeln is the German name. It's Kribbeln. I think I spelled that right. And the sheets for that one, this one is neat because you only use one sheet per game. All of the players get their scores written down. Oh, and here, I visited my parents over the holidays and played this with my mom and my sister. So it's a filled in sheet here. So each person's name goes at the top, and as you play through the rounds, you're writing down scores. And yeah, you only use one sheet per game, and they're double-sided. And what's neat is every single sheet is different. So if you look, the things on the sides here are not the same. So every single game you're playing for different things. And I really, really like Kribbeln a lot. I taught it to Danny and Derek of Danny and Derek Do Board Games and here on the Dice Tower. You guys have seen them in Board Game Breakfast and other places. I taught it to them at Dice Tower Con back in July, and I think they really liked it. I don't know if they ever ended up picking up a copy. Again, only available in Germany, but German Amazon is your friend when it comes to getting these small games that haven't come over to the States. They're usually not very expensive, and it's usually not bad to ship them. It takes much longer. It usually, I think, takes about 3 weeks-ish to ship to me here in Nevada. Let's see, did I miss any games? I'm looking through the pocket to see. I think that was all of them. Did anybody count? I didn't count. I should have been counting. At last count, I know it was around 17-ish games total. But yeah, so everybody had been asking about my Quiver. They wanted to know what I had in it, and so there it is. It's not repacked very well, but that's most of it. Again, oh, we're losing tokens. It's fine. It's fine. So yeah, my Quiver. It's very handy. Again, it's heavy. So like one time when I was traveling through airport security, I had this in my main bag and my weight was over by like 7 or 8 pounds, I think. And I pulled this out and that literally already like got me down to almost where I needed to be. So I slung it into my backpack, or I shoved it in my backpack. And it's sturdy too. Like this case, it's not hard plastic, but it's also not soft. Like, how would you describe this? I don't know. Like kind of like a hard shelled suitcase, but a little softer on the outside, like leathery feeling. Yeah, it's very sturdy. So like, I don't feel like I have to be precious with it when I'm carrying it around. Although I should be precious with it right now while the zipper is undone, because otherwise I'm gonna lose stuff. We're gonna zip that back up and put it back on the floor. Oh, didn't put the word view rules back in. I can do that later. That's fine. Okay, I'm gonna scroll back up through the chat and see what questions people have asked. If you have more questions for me, drop them in the chat below. I will get to them here in a minute. Drinking water. Tom Ripley asks, have you been to Roswell to check the aliens? I have not. I haven't been to Roswell. I haven't been to Area 51. Basically, from what I know of living kind of in proximity to that, at least within driving distance, is it's not a good idea. Like, you can drive somewhat near there and they will stop you and tell you to turn around and you cannot go in. And it's a big deal, supposedly. Like, it's really, really not okay to go into Area 51, which seems kind of weird. But who knows? It is what it is, but I've never been. So Roswell, or Area 51 and Roswell's in New Mexico. Is Area 51? No, Area 51's not. Those are not the same thing, right? Is Roswell where they thought aliens theoretically landed, and then Area 51's where they theoretically took aliens? It's all weird and hearsay, and I should know more about it, but I don't. And I didn't grow up on this side of the country, so I'm going to use that as my excuse. Also, it's not something I'm significantly interested in. So, yeah. Let's see here. Tom also asked, how is your dog? All 3 puppies are good. I could see, I don't know where baby's at. Sometimes she gets on the stream with me, but she's not nearby right now. They actually kind of get mad at me when I get on my computer because they know that I'm going to be ignoring them for like an hour, and that makes them sad. So they're all 3 doing good. The weather's been cold. It was snowing here in Las Vegas a lot this past week. A lot. It snowed for 24 hours straight at one point. Accumulation in some parts of town was 3 to 4 inches, which does not happen ever. It's ridiculous. So we actually thought that they might close down the interstates. They did close down the interstates between here and California briefly, but the ones here in town in the valley itself did not get closed down. And yeah, like I actually was kind of hoping for a snow day from work. Clark County School District did not end up canceling. And we think that if the school district had canceled, that my work would have let us stay home too. But it's so funny because I grew up in the Midwest. So to cancel work and school for like a small amount of snow seems a little silly. But I get it because there's very little infrastructure here to deal with snow. We can't plow the highways. Our highways have those little plastic things in like as the line dividers, which I hate. I hate them so much. I loved growing up in the Midwest where the lines were just painted on, and here we have those plastic things stuck in the concrete. So when you drive over them, they make a big noise. I hate them very much. But yeah, like you couldn't plow the roads because of those, but the highways never got accumulation at all. The side streets did a little bit, but not too much. Generally the pavement, it was melting immediately. It was just on the grass and trees where it was sticking. And I guess I should scroll down into the chat to see if anybody's talking about the snow stuff. Somebody said they canceled school on Friday after the snow. I don't think Clark County here in Nevada canceled, so maybe somewhere else, or maybe I didn't know about it. So let's see here. Scrolling back up. We talked about Fog of Love already. Kabuki Ked says, I'm usually a hard sell on dexterity games. Okay, I mean, that seems fine. I really like dexterity games. It's hard to find a dexterity game that I don't enjoy. So, yeah, see. There is a deck stair to a game where you are stacking letters on top of each other like the ladders. Oh, I know what you're talking about. They have they look like little like plastic leaves. And you're stacking the letters together. Eric has talked about this game at some point. Oh man, I don't even know how to Google that. But yeah, like you're trying to build words by like stacking, like clipping the letters almost into each other as they stack upward. I know what you're talking about, but I've never seen it in person and I don't remember the name. Maybe somebody, as I get down later in the chat, will have remembered, maybe based on my description. I'm sorry I can't remember it for you, Michelle. OGD says, hello, did I have to bleach my hair out to get that color? Yes, I most certainly did. So I have done purple in the past where I've just put the purple on top of my natural color. And so my roots are not bleached. So you can kind of see, and you can see my scalp is still colored a little bit too, because I've only washed it once since it was dyed on Tuesday. But you can see what it kind of looks like. Like it's definitely purple-ish when you put purple on top of my natural color. But like this color here and these colors down here would not be achievable without bleach. And I had never done this before. I had never bleached the majority of my head and put a vibrant color on top of it. So this was new for me and I am in love with it and I'm going to be doing this forever apparently. So I'm very excited about how it turned out. And also it's kind of a mess right now because it's morning and I woke up and just brushed it and did nothing else with it. But whatever, you guys don't care. Let's see. Oh, Connexy is the letter stacking game. Nick said it way long ago. So awesome. Thank you. Yeah, Connexy. I should try that one at some point. I like dexterity games and I like word games. So it seems like something I would enjoy. Let's see. Oh, yeah. City of Gears. Yep, we were talking about that. Vince said hi earlier. Hi, Vince. Sorry hopefully you're still here. Dr. Finn had a game called COG, Cabinet of Gadgetry, so they probably wouldn't push that side of the name too much. Let's see. Oh yeah, my hair fits my background. Yeah, I'm all in on my brand, like my colors, so it fits very well. All right, so we had Quiver stuff going on. First time Kabuki Kid has ever laid eyes on a Quiver. Wow, I'm so happy that I was able to let you see mine. And yes, of course, it was the purple one. They have other colors. They have black, teal, and pink as well. But of course, I'm partial to the purple. But the teal and the pink ones are very pretty as well. And if you like, more generic stuff, the black, I'm sure is lovely. Let's see here. Somebody said, my quiver is boring, just holds arrows. I mean, that is generally what a quiver is for. So somebody talked about the dividers that come with it. Thank you, Nick, for doing that. Kabuki says, I want Belrati, supposedly coming to the US eventually. I would be shocked if it wasn't, but I don't actually have any knowledge about whether it's coming to the US or not. I'm doing the chair swinging thing again. I mentioned this at the beginning. I'm going to try and stop. I always get fidgety. Somebody already answered E. Curry Sona's question about the dice version of Bonanza. It's called Würfel Bonanza. Würfel is probably a more correct pronunciation since that's a German word. And W's are pronounced like V's. Würfel Bonanza. Oh God, that was bad. I don't know why I continued with that line of pronunciation things. Oh, so then we talked about Carl Chudik for a little bit. I already mentioned that I have never played Arboretum. I know there's a new edition out that just came out from Renegade at Gen Con this past year. But yeah, leatherette covering. I would say that's actually a good description. If that's the real word, I believe you because that seems accurate. If I have the opportunity at Dice Tower West, what game would I pick to play with Rahdo? That's a really good question. I'm excited to see Rahdo again. So he came to MeepleCon, which MeepleCon is the name of this convention before it was Dice Tower West. And so he came to MeepleCon either 2 or 3 years ago. I might have been 3. And he even did like a little vlog from the convention and all of that. I've never actually gotten to play a game with him. I'm not sure what I would play with Rahdo. That's a really good question. I think you all should tell me if I have an opportunity to play a game with Rahdo. You all know me. You all know him probably pretty well. So what game do you think he and I should play together? I would actually be curious to hear your all's thoughts. Okay, so yeah, Roswell was the alleged landing site, and Area 51 is where they took the aliens. I have to use air quotes because it really, I mean, I think I'm a pretty intelligent person, and I do recognize that the secrecy around Area 51 is suspicious, but that doesn't mean it's aliens. And if aliens really truly existed and have existed and we knew about them for this long, I feel like we would have found out. People tend to be bad at keeping secrets in general. Like, they can keep secrets for a certain amount of time, but not forever. Also, how did my live Q&A turn into chat about aliens? I love this. But yeah, okay, so yeah, Roswell, New Mexico, supposedly where they landed. Area 51 is where Hangar 18 is, where they theoretically took them. I'm glad that I remembered all of these things accurately, even though I've never been to either, and I never will be, probably. All right, so yeah, somebody also said, oh wait, my chat just skipped around. Hold on, I gotta go back up. Will I be at Essen this year? The answer is I don't know. Probably not. There is the possibility for me to do more traveling to conventions in the future, especially with the Dice Tower. But obviously, as the Dice Tower team grows, Tom can't pay to fly 20, 30, however many people to conventions all year long. While you all are super generous in helping support the Dice Tower through Kickstarter, plane tickets are expensive, especially to Essen. And while I would love to go at some point, we haven't discussed this year yet, so I don't think I'm going this year because I feel like I would know about that already. I would love to join them, and I would love to be able to help out with the Dice Tower stuff at Essen. I'd love to attend Essen on my own as well, but considering I live on the west coast of the United States, Germany is very far from here. So that would involve not just taking time off work for the convention itself, but also for the travel and all of that. So it would be difficult. What I would love to have happen at some point in the future, so feel free to put a bug in Tom's ear about this, Ambi and Suzanne and I all live on the West Coast. And so it would be theoretically easier for us to go to Asia. I would love to go to the Tokyo Game Fair and see everything going on over there and help the Dice Tower have a presence in that market. I have no idea if that's even feasible, but I think it would be something really neat. And since we all live on this side of the country, it feels kind of doable. I know the international date line crossing makes travel difficult, but the actual travel time isn't horrible. So that's something that I would really love to have happen at some point in the future. This has not been discussed formally or officially in any way, but it's something that I think would be neat as the Dice Tower continues to grow for us to help expand our presence into other large game events across the world. So if that's something that interests you all, let Tom know or let me know, just so I'm aware if that's a good idea. Nick says, are you doing anything with the Dice Tower and the Gamma show in mid-March? So I will not be attending the Gamma trade show. If Gamma was still in Las Vegas, I would probably be helping. But since Gamma is in Reno, you'd think, oh, that's the same state. That's easy. It's not. Reno and Las Vegas are not close to one another. It is a short plane ride, but it is a plane ride. You do not want to drive between those two cities. I mean, people do, but not me. It's very long. 8 hours, I think. 9 hours, something like that. It's a very long drive. So I'm not going to the Gamma trade show, mostly because I cannot take that much time off from my full-time job, which is unfortunate, but I do still have to make a living, and board game content is not paying any bills at this point. So all of my bills I gotta pay through my real job. So yeah, I'm not going to the Gamma trade show. Wish I was. Hope to at some point in the future. We'll see. Let's see here. Should Spring Meadow, Indian Summer, and Cottage Garden be referred to as UA Rosenberg's tetralogy? Tetralogy. That's how that was intended to be pronounced. That sounds like a lovely idea. I think they all use tetraminos. Tetralogy is a cool word. Whether you just made that up or whether it exists, I like it. So yes, from me, I think that's a good idea. Oh, Clark County did cancel school on Friday. How did I not know about that? That seems weird. Okay. Let's see here. Everybody's talking about snow. Is there a theme that you would like to see in board gaming that has not appeared yet? Okay, so I'm going to cheat and pull out my phone for this because I actually have a list of board game design ideas and themes that I would like to design at some point. And so let's see, some things that I would love to see. Oh, here's one that I can't design because I don't have personal experience with it. One of my favorite things in the world is Tibetan mandalas. I wonder if I could Google this and get it to pull up a picture for you all. So they're these beautiful, intricate works of art made with sand. And these Buddhist, is it Buddhist monks? Oh, Tibetan monks, of course, Tibetan. Tibetan monks delicately place little amounts of sand to create these intricate, beautiful works of art. And we're going to try and show you. Oh, no, I don't want to click on the article. I want to actually just see the image. How can I make you bigger? Well, we're going to do this like this anyway. I just want to show you all what this looks like. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. Screen share. We're going to show you this one. Share. So it's these hugely beautiful works of art made out of sand. They spend days, weeks building them. And then when they're done at the very, very end, they sweep all of the sand away. They just destroy the beautiful work of art that they've created. And there's a lot of story and interesting facts about why they do that. And I don't want to get into it because I'm not an expert. When I was in college, we actually had some Tibetan monks visit my school and create a mandala in our art auditorium over the course of, I want to say, a week or two. And then they swept all of the sand away and they put it into these tiny bottles and gave it to a bunch of us students. And so I got a bottle of sand that was part of this beautiful work of art. And it touched me in a very cool way. Just art being a fleeting thing, I think makes it meaningful in a different way than typical art that kind of can stand the test of time. And I went on a huge tangent there, but I would love to see a game themed around Tibetan mandalas. I have no idea how that would work or how it would be designed or, cultural appropriation in board games has been a problem, and I don't want this to be that kind of thing. So I think it would be difficult to get people who are involved or knowledgeable about the process to help with the game design or to design it themselves. So I can't design that game because I'm not involved, but I would love to see that. Let's see. Oh, I want to see a board game based on Zork. What were originally text-based computer adventures, then evolved into full-fledged computer games with video cutscenes and 3D scapes, scenarios and landscapes is what I was trying to say there. I actually was planning on trying to design a scenario for Time Stories based on Zork because I think it would work well, but designing for Time Stories is difficult. So anyone who's made a fan submission for Time Stories, good job you. It's hard. Let's see. Other things that I want to see. What's funny is a lot of the games on my list, or a lot of the ideas on my list, have actually come to fruition since I started the list. I used to have miniature golf on here, and now that exists. There's a miniature golf dexterity game, Mars Open, I think is what that one's called. I want to see an asymmetrical board game based on the Rocky Horror Picture Show. So obviously anything involving an IP is tough, but a lot of the people in the Rocky Horror Picture Show all have different goals that they're trying to achieve throughout the course of the movie. And so this would not probably be a kid-friendly game, but I think it would be really interesting. So yeah, I would love to see that. Oh, and here's one I know I can't design either. For those of you who aren't familiar, I think mega games are really cool. Mega games are kind of a combination of an RPG, LARP board game experience that can be played with like a whole bunch of people, up to like 50, 60 something people, and over the course of a few hours. I would love to see an escape room mega game. So this would be a logistical nightmare, but where there are multiple rooms, multiple groups of people who eventually have to start coming together to solve more puzzles. So like maybe you start in small groups in small rooms, and then you have pieces to solve. Like then you start moving into centralized rooms where like you have a piece in your starting room that will help somebody else in their like, you know, second room, and maybe a way to pass clues or something like that. I have no idea how it worked, but I love escape rooms. I think mega games are really cool. So an escape room mega game is one of my dreams. And so all you game designers who I know are definitely watching this Q&A right now, please start working on that. I know that you need a large physical space to put it in, and then everybody would have to go there, and that's logistically difficult. But it would be fun, wouldn't it? Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see here. Purple isn't my natural color. I know, shocking, right? Honestly, it kind of feels like it. As soon as I came out of the salon, I felt like me, which is weird because purple is not a natural color, but I love the way it turned out. So, oh my gosh, my chat just jumped to the end. I should have popped it out, but I didn't. Aldi said that Belrati is coming to the US. Oh, okay. Aldi is the person who owns and runs Board Game Geek, the website. And so, yes, I imagine his word is definitely trustworthy. Michelle said, tell us about On Tour earlier. So I'm going to make sure, how much chat am I missing here? Not a ton. So I know, apologies. I know you all are responding in real time to what I'm saying, and I'm not getting to it till much later. But that is the problem of trying to do things in chronological order. So On Tour, Michelle wants to hear about On Tour. This is the largest roll and write game I own. It's the heaviest roll and write game I own. So you've got a deck of cards that all have a region and then a specific state highlighted on them. You have 2 very large D10s. These are very big, large D10s. I hope when YouTube, you know, like the algorithm chooses what screenshot to use for the thumbnail for this video, that it picks this one. Hold on. Let's like make a really good thumbnail. Okay, so hopefully it picks that. It never does. It always picks the derpiest face that I've made. And, you know, there's nothing I can do about it. So you've got markers, and then you've got player boards, and each player board is huge. They are these tri-folding, they almost look like a restaurant menu. They've got a very nice, like reflective finish on them. I should know what that's called. And then, woo, shiny. They are big. Do you see this? Do you see how big this is? There's my head. Here's the board. It is gigantic. And all of them are functionally the same for the purposes of the game. But then they have differences in the artwork because they're all based on a different genre of music. So you saw this one says rock on it. This one says country. This one is jazz. And the last one is hip hop. But that's at the bottom of the box now, covered in other things. But yeah, they're all functionally the same. They just have slightly different artwork on them based on the genre of music. And then you're going to be rolling dice and writing down numbers onto the board. And you're eventually, at the end of the game, trying to connect a single line through as many cities as you can. And you have to start with the lowest number you can. And every number that you touch sequentially must be either equal to or greater than the number previous. So if I wrote a 4 down here in Florida and I wrote a 5 in Georgia, I could draw from Florida to Georgia and then maybe to Alabama, Mississippi, etc. You can never go back to another city or as to a state you've already been through, but you're just trying to connect as many states as possible with a single continuous line. And then you get bonus points for cities that you've circled, which you get if the state pictured on the card is the one that you wrote a number in. That's a real kind of quick explanation, not very thorough, but I like it a lot. It's pretty simple, but it's fun. I'm bummed that it's not more portable, because roll and write games for me, as you all saw, I love that most of them are very portable. I can throw them all in my Quiver and take them with me. This feels like I'm not going to be taking it around that much, even in my game bag, because it's so heavy for what it is. Like, it's a light game, that weighs a lot. So let's see here. Oh gosh, have I messed up the chat again? I think I went too far up. Okay, here we go. We found Michelle's comment. Bonus points if I do a full chair spin with jazz hands. I don't think I actually can based on the things that are around me right now. I know it looks like I'm in an empty room, but there's a lot of stuff around. And also I would probably injure myself knowing myself. So let's see. I don't even, can the chair go all the way around based on where I am? Hold on. Wait. Oh. Okay. Well, we can't do it quickly because there's things around me. But I did a full chair spin for the two of you who requested it. So you can't say that I didn't try. Let's see here. People talking about aliens, Elvis and Michael Jackson living in Area 51. Of course, I'm sure that that's definitely the case. Let's see here. Next Kickstarter stretch goal, buying a jet stream. I think that that's a good stretch goal. We should do that. So you, Suzanne, and Ambi should go to Tokyo Game Fair. Yes. Somebody else says Tokyo Game Fair would be amazing. Yes. I'm glad that you all are excited. Again, this is not anything that has been formally discussed in any way at all. I know that Ambi and Suzanne would both be down to do this potentially. But yeah, I think that would be a really neat thing for us to do at some point. And since we all, and Mike and Nick, yeah, the Murph brothers could come too because they're over here on the West Coast as well. So we could have a nice little Dice Tower contingent at Tokyo Game Fair. I will have to learn some Japanese though, I'm pretty sure. I know very little Japanese. Yeah. Let's see here. Tokyo to LA, where you can land before you take off. That international date line will get you. I've never actually flown over it before, so that will probably be weird for me. Michelle suggests that I should play Forum Trajanum. Trajanum, is that how you pronounce that? With Rado. Okay. I don't know much about that game. I think it's probably a heavy Euro from what I remember, which is definitely the type of game that I hate normally, but that doesn't mean I would not like that one, so I should possibly try it out. The Las Vegas to Reno drive would be 4 hours if you could drive through Area 51. Is that really true? I feel like just based on where the interstates are, like where the roads exist, that wouldn't be, you'd have to make another road, right? I don't know. Let's see. Race for the Galaxy type game would be fun with Rado, but instead you should get him out of his comfort zone and play Survive, Escape from Atlantis, or Pompeii. Okay. Race for the Galaxy has been one of my perennial favorites since I first got into the hobby back in 2007. So I've been playing that game for 12 years. That I'm always down to play. Escape from Atlantis, I've played once or twice, and it was pretty fun. That one can be kind of mean. And Pompeii I've never actually played, although I've watched some of my friends play it. So Gator Dave said, "Good afternoon, Crystal." Hello, Dave. It's morning here for me, but I'm glad to hear it's afternoon for you. Yeah, I'm not sorry, Nerdling Mom. Yes, I would love to be at Tokyo Game Fair. I'm not sure about Essen. I don't want to say yes or no definitively. I think more likely than not, the answer is no for this year, just because it's too hard to get everybody from the Dice Tower over there. And also, at a certain point, the Dice Tower booth only needs to be staffed by a certain number of people. So obviously the full-time employees of the Dice Tower are going to be the ones who are going to go and work there before those of us who do stuff more on a volunteer basis. So yeah, I'm not upset about potentially not going to Essen. I definitely want to at some point though. So how awesome would it be for Crystal to be the fourth seat of the Tom, Sam, and Z power team full time? That would be amazing. I think that would require me living in Florida, which I would technically be willing to do, except I have a husband and he has a job and I have a job, and board games do not pay enough to have both of us quit our jobs, nor would we probably want to. So yeah, unless my husband was very excited about moving to Florida and could find work as a software programmer down there that paid as well as the work he does here, I don't see that happening anytime soon. But I love Tom, Sam, and Z all very much, and I enjoy working with them every chance I get. On the Dice Tower Cruise, when we did both the live game shows together, I had so much fun, and I love doing content with them. And it bums me out that I don't get to very often because I don't get to see them more than a handful of times every year. But I get to see them in 10 days at Dice Tower West, so that'll be very, very fun. Let's see here. Oh yeah, Zork. People like Zork. Something like The Seventh Guest is a giant group experience. I mean, anything would be better than The Seventh Guest board game that came out, right? Tom played that game, and oh, so bad. Really bad. But yeah, The Seventh Guest as a giant group experience would be neat. But yeah, I think murder mystery parties have been around for a long time, but those are kind of more centered on the people. And I think if you could create an immersive experience where the physical space you were in was a big part of it, I think that would be really cool. And I think people would definitely pay to do that. Like, escape rooms have become really popular here in the US. So if you made an even more immersive experience, like, oh, this is going to take all evening, and we also maybe serve you dinner as part of it or whatever, people would totally pay for that. I have all these ideas, but I'm never going to actually do anything. Whoa, shook the desk. Sorry, earthquake. Let's see here. All part of Crystal's master plan to take over the Dice Tower. I love that this joke is still continuing, and I'm going to keep working on it. So yeah, definitely. A board game about eating disgusting food. Crystal is an expert. I'm an expert at eating disgusting food? I don't even know what that means. I'm a pretty picky eater, actually. Mega Escape sounds like the movie The Cube, but would be easy enough to do if you had enough rooms. OMG, that's brilliant. I'm hoping that's about the Mega Room Escape, or the Mega Game Escape Room too, since that's what other people were talking about at this point. I think it would work really well. I think it would be difficult to run, difficult to maintain, and I think it would end up being expensive for people who wanted to participate in it. So I recognize that there are like hurdles that make doing something like this difficult. But yeah, I've gone 100% goofball. Was that when I was doing the 180 in the chair, maybe? I don't know. UV coating on the box. Yes, on the boards. I love that you all just like fix everything for me in the moment, and then later I'm like, yes, you did it. Good job. Let's see. Those boards scream stretch goal to me. I don't know. So I don't think so. I'm stuttering a lot. I don't remember from the Kickstarter. So the Chad Deshawn is who designed and put out this game. He runs boardgametables.com. And I'm really happy with the production, truthfully. I really like it, and it's very beautiful. I'm just bummed that I can't take it places as easily as other roll and write games. Let's see. Mega escape room in an old closed high school. Would that be big enough, or is that just the plot for the faculty? Yeah, I don't know. But I think you would almost have to build a custom space. Because if you were modifying an existing space, then you wouldn't have as much flexibility in what types of puzzles and physical components you could create. So yeah, Otter did a boosted comment. Thank you so much for donating to the Dice Tower. And he said, just as long as you come to Essen. I would love to come to Essen. I promise. If Tom was willing and able, and I was able to get the time off of work, I would definitely come to Essen in a heartbeat. But all of those things happening is difficult. You know, I don't have a ton of vacation time that I can take from my job every year. And while going to board game conventions is fun, for something like Essen, it would also be work for me. So that would mean I was using my personal vacation time to not really truly take a vacation and get, you know, that decompression and that time off that I really do need. So it's tough. I want to come to Essen. I do. I promise. I would love to come overseas. At some point, I'm going to make it happen. Definitely. Whether it's this year or not is less likely, but, you know, who knows? Maybe we can start shooting for 2020. That seems like a good goal. Not to mention a Dice Tower Cruise West. I don't think that's in the cards anytime soon from what I know. There are, you know, the Dice Tower has already got a lot of balls in the air that they're juggling, and I know Jason Levine puts in his heart and soul to do the regular Dice Tower cruise, and a West Coast version of that, I think, is probably a long time off. I know I'm not going to be planning it, so. Oh, and Michelle English did clarify that Forum Trajanum is a heavy Euro, but a little different, not as heavy as most. Okay. Euro games in general, if they don't have a fun theme, I'm almost immediately disconnected. I need something interesting to latch onto, and cool mechanics are often not enough for me. Dice Tower Cruise Europe would be a dream, but Tom says no to any additional cruises for a bit. Yeah, I don't think that's happening anytime soon. Jeremy asked if I can say hi to his daughter, Peyton. She's new to gaming and just got back from Tantrum Con. Okay, so yeah, like the Tantrum House folks just held a convention. Hi, Peyton. I'm really happy that you're into playing board games with your dad. That's really cool. I used to play games with my dad when I was growing up, and it definitely was some really good memories for me. So please keep playing board games. I hope you beat your dad when you play games with him. Don't take it easy on him. You got to make sure that you beat him as much as possible. I'm sure you all have fun no matter what. Cooperative games are often fun with kids and parents. That way, everybody can win together. I always enjoy cooperative games. But Peyton, thank you so much for hanging out and watching my stream. I really, really appreciate it. And I hope you're having a really awesome day with your dad. He sounds pretty cool. So thanks for watching. Let's see. Oh, my chat keeps jumping around. I know I should pop it out, but I just didn't. Oh yeah, Michelle says Forum Trajanum is more of an AMB game than a Crystal game. That is definitely true, probably. Let's see, a big hug from London, UK. Big hugs to you too, hooray. I know it is in the long-term goals, not short-term, but if you don't keep the bug in the ear without overdoing it on every stream, it gets out of mind too. I don't know which long-term goals, which one you were mentioning specifically. So I'm not 100% sure what you meant, but if it's about more cruises or me going to more conventions or anything else, all of that stuff, gets discussed behind the scenes. But yeah, it's all just about logistics and money and availability, and there's a whole bunch of factors in play for all of that stuff. So when it happens, it happens. Am I happy that Vegas is getting the Raiders NFL team? So this is an interesting question. When we got a hockey team, the Vegas Golden Knights, I was very excited because I grew up in Kansas City, Missouri, and I never had a hockey team in my hometown. So I used to kind of support the St. Louis Blues just because they were in the same state as me, but I never had a hockey team. I do have a football team, though. I am from Kansas City, and I am a diehard Chiefs fan. So I'm not happy that Las Vegas is getting the Raiders. If it was a football team, if it was an NFL team from any other division, it would not be so bad. But the Raiders and the Chiefs are in the same division, and I am a Raider hater. So I'm happy that the Chiefs will be able to come to Vegas and play, and I'll be able to get to see them here. But I can't ever see myself being a Raiders fan. Maybe that will change. Oh gosh, I can't even imagine it. It's so weird for me. Yeah. Oh, the food thing was a reference to Ambi and I eating insects and other gross things in a hotel room at BGG-Con. Yes, we did a live stream. One of our Patreon stretch goals, we ended up eating some very sour, some very spicy, and some very gross snacks on the Board Game Blitz YouTube channel. So if you head over there, you can find that video. I'm very terrified of bugs, and I ate a cricket, and I was very proud of myself. So I'm already a little bit past my time, but I'm going to keep going. It looks like we're getting close to the end of the chat, but I want to make sure I don't miss anything. Let's see here. Any current Kickstarters piquing my interest? It's not a repeat question. Let's see if I have any Kickstarters that I'm actively backing that are still running, because I don't remember. Is that a bad sign that I don't actually know? There's one that's running right now. It's got 11 days left. Wavelength. I've talked about this on a stream before. I think Dice Tower Tonight, or maybe, I don't know. It is from the creators of The Mind, Wolfgang Warsch, and Monikers. And I forget the two gentlemen's names who designed Moniker, so I apologize for that. But Wavelength is a party game, and I am super excited about it. They've actually been posting puzzles that are based on the game on Twitter. If you go to Wavelength Daily on Twitter, you can see their puzzles, and I'm actually going to pull up one of their tweets. So what they do is they have this like dial, that you can twist to any number of places. And you put a card into the dial and it'll show a range. And then you have to pick something that falls within the range that they've designated. You have to like say a word or a phrase, I'm not sure, that you think falls within the range to get people to put the dial in the right place without knowing where it was intended to go. So like here on this one, it says overrated skill, underrated skill. Oh, it's not focusing very well. Sorry, it's not focusing. Hopefully you can kind of see what that is. But yeah, you have to pick something that falls in that part of the scale. So like it's underrated, but not totally underrated. And you're trying to get people to guess, put the dial in the right place on the scale. It looks fascinating. And I am very excited about it. There's 11 days left on the Kickstarter. So that one's cool. That's the only one that I'm actively backing right now. Let's see. Do I have any others saved? Oh yeah. 1001 Odysseys has 4 days left. I haven't backed it yet, but I'm interested in that one. And that's the number 1001 Odysseys. Tiny Epic Tactics is on Kickstarter for another 10 days. I like some of the Tiny Epic games, but not all of the Tiny Epic games. I was not super keen on Tiny Epic Zombies, which was their most recent one. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't amazing either. But Tiny Epic not Kingdoms. What is the one I love? Why can I not remember the one that I love? Tiny Epic what? My brain. You can tell it's the end of my Q&A when I can't think of a game that I love. Tiny Epic Quest is the one that I love so much. It's like The Legend of Zelda, the board game, and it comes in a tiny box, and it's wonderful. Tiny Epic Quest is my favorite for sure. Tiny Epic Mechs hasn't come out yet, right? I think. So we don't know about that one yet. But yeah, this one, Tiny Epic Tactics, looks interesting. The little 3D boxes that stack on each other look neat. But I'm not sure if I'm going to back this one or not. So I'm frazzled. Yeah, by the end, after talking for an hour straight, it's kind of hard not to be, I think. So let's see here. Make sure I didn't miss any questions toward the end. Gamer Joe said it makes him upset that I'm a Chiefs fan. Chargers all the way. No way, man. Can't do it. And just like you can't like the Chiefs, I can't like the Chargers. It's just we're wired that way. It's all right. Some people talking about consumption, which is on Kickstarter right now. That one I'm not sure about. I know that it was designed by a dietitian, but there are some food related things in the game that I think are potentially problematic. Regarding potentially people with food disorders or other eating disorders, things like that. So I'm a little skeptical about that one, but I don't know a ton about it. So a truck is very loud outside. I don't know if you all can hear that. Somebody said, I think I'm Tiny Epic burned out. I mean, I really like games with a small footprint. The more games I can fit into my game bag or my Quiver and take with me, I mean, that's always a good thing. So I don't think I'm ever going to be burned out on Tiny Epic anything necessarily. Well, their games specifically, or just small box games in general. If you can fit a lot of game into a small space, I'm a fan usually. But even Tiny Epic Quest, which I love, is very fiddly because it's small. If that board game had bigger components, it wouldn't be as fiddly. So there are downsides. Let's see. Laszlo Torde says, do I know the game called Monopoly? It is fantastic. I do know Monopoly. I don't know if you are intentionally messing with me, but in case you are not, Monopoly is something I'm very aware of. I've played it a lot as a kid. Just a joke. Okay. See, but the thing is, here's the thing. People like to hate on Monopoly. And if you play it with the correct rules, it's not as bad as most people remember. B, we should never hate on the way somebody else has fun in regard to board games. If people are playing a board game and enjoying it and having fun, having a good time, who are we to hate on what board game they happen to be playing? Assuming that it is not offensive to others or disruptive in any major way. If they're having fun with it, I think that's awesome. And so if somebody wants to pull out Monopoly every single weekend and enjoys their time spent playing it, then I think that's awesome. I don't play Monopoly anymore, but that's not to say I never would. I actually haven't played it in years. I played it a lot as a kid, not just the physical board game, but I actually had Monopoly on Nintendo. They had an NES cartridge of Monopoly, and that was cool because it moved faster and you could set time limits for the game. It was actually really, really fun on Nintendo. So a digital version of Monopoly is not as bad either. Hawk Skull said, the hard part is getting people to play Monopoly with the actual rules. I imagine that is the case. A lot of people grew up playing with house rules of some kind. But yeah, don't hate on other people's game choices. Celebrate them. Celebrate the fact that they are playing games and that they're having fun. That's a really important thing to remember, especially for those of us who are deep in the hobby. You know, we tend to turn our nose up at things like Monopoly or Munchkin or other things. But guess what? When I first got into the hobby, I played Munchkin and I had fun playing Munchkin. Yes, as I learned about other games, I realized there are aspects of Munchkin that aren't potentially as well designed as now the games that I play, but that doesn't mean I didn't have fun playing it in that moment. I had fun playing Munchkin. So yeah, just always remember to take a step back, use perspective, and let people have fun the way that they want to have fun. You don't have to force your brand of fun onto anyone, but it is fun to introduce hobby games to people who like casual games. Somebody said Coloma. Any thoughts? I know nothing about Coloma. Zero things. That's the first I've heard of it. So I have no thoughts. I'm so sorry. Tiny Epic Monopoly for the win. All right. Well, if that isn't a perfect wrap up to this stream, we went off the rails a few times. I'm so glad I got to show you all the things that are in my quiver, though. If you all would like to see a continuing series about switching games out, putting other games in my quiver, I know I've discussed that in the most recent episode of Dice Tower Tonight. That's something I could do potentially. But yeah, I think I'm very happy that you all were able to join me today. I'm so flustered. I can't speak at all. But thank you all for joining me. I hope you have a really wonderful Sunday. I will see you all hopefully for Dice Tower Tonight, not this coming Wednesday, but the following Wednesday, which is March 6th. That is the first night of Dice Tower West. So I'm not 100% certain if Eric and I are going to be able to stream, but if we do, it will maybe be live from the convention center. I don't know for sure. We'll find out. But have a wonderful day, everybody. And thank you for joining me. I'm Crystal Pisano, and you've been watching Board Game Brunch. Have fun gaming, everyone.